Soon may the wellerman come, bring us coffee, tea, and rum. One day the tonguing is done, take our leave and go. At a fair in the sun town, her hair was blonde and this was round. Soon may the wellerman come around.
Like a lot of things on this skiff, the sail plan has never really been complete or finalized. The main was actually sewn for a smaller boat, and the mizzen was kind of an afterthought, with the mizzen sail being a jib from a 10-foot O'Day Sprite. And one of the nice things about this skiff, and part of the fun for me, is that there's a lot of possibility for experimentation and changing things and moving things around. There's a lot of potential for adding mast steps in new locations. The combination of small main and mizzen have gotten me by just fine until this point, but my skills and knowledge of sailing in boats has improved quite a bit since I built the skiff, and so now I've realized what was probably obvious to a lot of people. The sail plan with the mizzen is too far aft. And not only that, but I more often than not find myself wanting for a little more canvas in the air and a little more power. So a simple solution seems to be just add a jib and move that sail plan forward, gain a little bit of sail area, and hopefully allow the boat to point a little higher and sail closer to the wind. I have some old jib sails for a larger boat that have some holes in them and are in general not in that great of shape, so I've been using them for some DIY projects, and I actually cut one of them up to make the Lugsail for my Wilderness Systems Pamlico kayak. Looking at one of these large jibs laid out on the loft floor, I noticed that from the head down a little bit, looked like it might be just perfect to suit my skiff, and I already knew there wasn't enough room between the stem and the mast to fit a jib, so I knew I would need some kind of a bowsprit. The actual sewing of the jib couldn't have been easier. I measured out how much of the old jib sail that I would need, made one cut to an angle, and finished that edge and added a couple of spur grommets. The sprit itself is just some 1-inch pine round stock that I had, and it's maybe a little over 3 foot or so. The after part of the sprit just bolts through the mast, and then forward at the breast hook it runs through a U-bolt, and that's all that's needed to secure the sprit. The jib is free flying as there is no forestay. It's an unstayed rig. The tack is shackled to the bowsprit and the jib is hoisted with a halyard. The sheets are 1/4-inch braid that run through the rail to a pair of fair leads on the centerboard trunk, and then to a cam cleat that sits just below the main cam cleat. This makes tacking very easy. I can access all sheets from the helm. I've found the new jib to be a major performance increase, as well as giving me more control of the boat overall. She has more power, points higher, and tacks a little faster as well, and of course you can backwind the jib when tacking to help bring the boat around. Most importantly though, the jib has greatly reduced the weather helm condition that I was experiencing with the previous sail plan, which was likely a result of having the sail plan too far aft in relation to the centerboard. With this new setup, I can balance the trim of the mizzen and the trim of the jib in order to balance the helm, or intentionally set a little lee helm, or intentionally set a little weather helm. This is definitely an unconventional combination of a jib sail with a lug-rigged main, and I think part of the reason for that is that the jib tends to foul on the main, especially on the yard when tacking, and I've not found that to be a problem because I was aware of it when I was making the new jib, and I just set the jib far forward enough that there is very minimal overlap between the yard and the jib sail. The jib may slightly brush the yard when tacking, but it's just ever so slightly, so I haven't had any problems with a hang-up. The one problem that I could say I've had is I find it difficult to set the jib for a wing and wing condition when running. I haven't had much success with that. It may be that I haven't been out in heavy enough air, or it may be something to do with the angle of my sheeting, so I will have to experiment with that a little more. Overall, it's a worthy modification, especially considering how simple it was to build, and I wish I'd done it a long time ago. The one thing I may have to upgrade is to a stronger bowsprit. Probably still a 1-inch diameter, but maybe an oak.
Ooh, I got this thing out of the water.